New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
What Would Louise Say? Join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Hosted by Reverend Martine Bernard. Explore the wisdom of Louise Hay. Brought to you by New Thought Media Network. Dive into Louise's teachings. Experience healing and empowerment. Reverend Martine shares insights. Connect with a contemporary audience. Unlock your potential. Transform your life with love. Embrace positivity and healing. Join our vibrant community. Ready to join us? Let's spread love and wisdom together. Please like, share, and subscribe. Only on New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Hello, 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 beautiful ones. I am Reverend Martine. I am the host of What Would Louise Say? And we have such an exciting show scheduled for you today, an incredible interview with a delightful and very, very powerful, a wise spiritual teacher. The show today is dedicated to prosperity consciousness, to wealth consciousness, to health consciousness. As Louise would always say, health and wealth begins in the mind. The economy is in your consciousness. So let me talk a little bit about today's guest. Yes. We have Michael Budnick with us today. And Michael is a certified Heal Your Life Facilitator, holistic financial advisor. Yes. Isn't that amazing? A prosperity teacher and the author of The Prosperous Nurse, founder of the Healing Lives community, and someone who reminds us health is your wealth. Health is your wealth. So, Michael, welcome to the show.
Wow. Thank you so much, Reverend Martine. So just a pleasure, a joy, and an honor to be here with you today.
Oh, it's such a pleasure and a joy to have you with us. We're both in our greens. I said, I have to wear green because I'm attracting more and more wealth and health into my life. I always like to begin at the beginning. Tell me, how did Louise and her philosophy find you? And how did you find her?
Yeah, thank you. So I was, I actually picked up her book literally about 40 years ago when I was living in San Diego, California. So this was about a year after she published You Can Heal Your Life. And at the time, I'm in my mid-20s, and I was really touched by this process that I could shift where I could, it's only a thought, and a thought can be changed.
Yes.
And at that time, I had just completed my four-year, it took me 5 years to finish my electrical apprenticeship. And it was what my dad wanted me to do. God bless my dad.
Yes.
Love him. But that's not what I wanted to do. And Louise, when I read her book, it really gave me the empowerment to begin to look to do work that brought me joy. And that's how I literally stumbled upon getting into the retirement planning industry in San Diego. So, and that was kind of just the beginning of the journey with her. Yeah.
That is what is so powerful is that you speak to one of the foundational teachings that Louise impressed upon us, which is to love our parents, to forgive them, to know that hurt people, and they were also doing the best that they could with the limitations and the consciousness, the beliefs that were programmed into them that were then programmed into us. So many times we especially in our culture, Western culture, there is this idea that you kind of blame your parents for everything wrong in your life forever. You never really get over it. We're constantly being told, well, you come from a dysfunctional background, and therefore that's why things are this way, and they will stay this way. So you took the powerful leap of doing this inner work, of loving. Yes, here's our 40th anniversary cover. We will be celebrating Louise's beautiful, magnificent book that is 40 years old and that has influenced hundreds of thousands of people in 90 languages all over the world. I think there's 1,600 teachers, but this book is what changed my life and Michael's life. And the foundation is forgive your parents and move on. They were doing the best that they could do. Love yourself and choose the life that you desire. And Michael, you did just that. Powerful. How powerful. And I love that you said, love dad. This is what dad wanted me to do. Loved him anyway. But then I got in tune with the frequency of what I wanted to do and how powerful you wanted to work in the field of finance, real estate, and money. That is so powerful.
Yeah. And if I might add to that, so, and Louise says, right, our parents, they did the best they could.
Yes.
I was fortunate that I could interview my mom and dad and find out about their childhoods. And when I did, that created compassion.
Yeah.
When my dad's dad, Grandpa Joe, passed away, my dad's dad never told him he loved him. Yeah. So this is where my dad was coming from. And here I am. I mean, I kind of went a couple different ways. Well, I chose the path of love, accepting my dad and understanding him for who he is and knowing that I can love and respect him, but I'm going to do what I love to do. That, one of his things was you have to work hard. Well, that's not true. Louise taught me that. And I was able to move from, working 6-7 days a week, sometimes 10, 12 hours a day to 5 hours a day, doing work that I loved, living in San Diego, going body surfing and doing Tai Chi in Solana Beach in the afternoons, and making and literally nearly doubling my income in half the time.
Oh, what is so powerful? You interviewed your parents. Sometimes we just assume things about our legacy. We assume, well, mom or dad doesn't love us. They're mean. They just want to torture us. The little inner child says that. But the wise self that Louise desires that we will just step into our wisdom self, our higher self, interviews and talks to our parents. We find out, why are they that way? What was going on there in their childhood, because they're just little wounded children like we are. And we all get to love ourselves and forgive each other and change our reality. So here you went from working 6 days a week, like many, many Americans are doing, many people across the world, to working 5 hours a day, windsurfing, exercising, Tai Chi, and doubling your income. That is truly a shift in consciousness. There's so much fear. Michael, we talked about what were some of the things that you did in the beginning. So you found Louise's work. You went on to change your profession, change your lifestyle. What are some of the things that you did? Because you were talking about some of the classes, some of the money mentors that you discovered that helped you to change your consciousness around wealth, around money, around prosperity. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because this is all new history to me. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, this is really great. And I want to just add that kind of a precursor for context.
Yes.
Louise would always say, look, I am one piece of the puzzle. You need to, explore other ways to heal your life. And in the back of her book, she lists out like, oh my gosh, I don't know, probably 100, 200 different health and wellness modalities. And one of those people that I had the pleasure of meeting because of Louise's book, Jerry Gillis, he wrote a book in the 1970s called Money Love. And his whole concept was love is money and money is love. And what a great way to view money, because it's a vehicle to help us to get what we want in life. It's a way to really, get ourselves healthier, right?
Yes.
And so it was because of Luis that I found out about him, was able to attend his workshop in the late 80s in San Diego, and further, taking kind of even further steps into, money and consciousness, and how really understanding that, it's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. And then you can shift it in an instant, in a heartbeat, and that is so powerful, so powerful.
Wow, that is very, very, money is God in action. That's
Yeah.
what Raymond Charles Barker, a very, very famous New Thought minister that Louise knew in New York in the 70s. He had a great big church, but money is God in action, and God is love. So money is love in action, showing
Mhm.
up in manifestation. So you become a Heal Your Life teacher and coach. How did that happen? How did you discover Dr. Patricia? When did you take the class? Because here you are working in real estate and finance. You've manifested a level of comfort, because prosperity is also time. We don't think about the money, time, freedom aspect. You're able to give yourself time to pray, time to meditate, time to exercise, time to have fun, less urgency. Because poverty and scarcity is this urgent, fearful, worrisome energy. And when you allow, my beloveds, go take that 5-minute walk. Say that you have enough time to take a breath. Some people don't even feel as though they deserve to take a cleansing breath in. Pause, smell the flowers, begin doing the simple things. And when you're not in that rushing energy, you actually begin to attract prosperity in your life. Go for that 5-minute walk. Stand in front of that lawn or that super nice area. Say, yes, this can be mine too. But when you allow and give yourself time, oh, wonderful. Here is, oh, this is wonderful, Healing Lives Community. Can you talk a little bit about your website and this page and your offerings?
Sure, I'd be delighted to. And I will answer your question too, if I'll just run through this real briefly. And then, do you want me to answer the Louise Hay question first, or do you want
Now,
me to?
let's talk about your community.
Okay,
'Cause this is
sure. So, well, let me give you again some more context. Before the show today, you got to meet my daughter Sarah and her mother Andrea. I met Andrea in 2000 and at 17, just before we turned to 2018. And we were blessed 6 months later with this amazing being that came into our lives. And so I lived in Costa Rica for over 5.5 years. And now Sarah and I have been here in Knoxville for 3 years. And so really, it takes a village. It takes everybody to help one another. And so I recently, this is like, I believe in serendipity on everything I do in life. Many times a day, I expect it. A friend of mine in Oregon said, "Hey, Michael, if I were to come to Knoxville, I would want to join a Course in Miracles community." And one night, again, this is where AI shines. When I moved here, this place called the Oasis Institute did not pop up on my radar. Well, it did a couple months back. And they literally have this amazing space. So next Thursday, we're going to be doing a free movie night starting at 6:30 p.m. here in Knoxville. Louise's amazing story with all the people she brings in, right? Greg Braden and the teachings of Abraham and so forth. And then following that in September, and I would like to do a better job, maybe I can pull up the dates for the online immersion. That's going to begin on September 15th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. That'll run for 6 full weeks. And also, which I think it's important that within this course, the Course in Live experience, Patricia and Rick, along with these amazing people in India, created a self-guided self-immersion course. And people can get started on that immediately if they want to. And that is just an amazing 5-section course. So it's all part of the experience, but people could actually begin there. They could micro step into that like today, right? They could begin today on that, which is really cool. And then the last thing coming up in October, I'll be doing the 2-day Love Yourself, Heal Your Life. The couple I'm doing this with at their home, they live in the country here. It's beautiful. They love Louise Hay. This woman carries her book around. So their home is like, it's like a mini castle. I mean, it's a retreat center, really. So I just share these with you because all of this, just with me saying, all right, it's time now, to really get things rolling. And I am.
I think it's incredible that you're creating community. So I could zoom in or join even here in Boston,
Right.
regardless of where I'm from, because people are looking for healing community.
Yes.
It's so important, and a community where we share these spiritual values.
Mhm.
Michael and I were talking at the beginning of the show how important it is right now at this time on the planet where there's so much fear being generated by the news, by social media, to stay, I call it stay prayed up, but stay Louise Hay up, because you want to embody these principles and to practice prosperity consciousness, to practice it and to practice it daily.
Yes.
There's a narrative that the AI is going to take everybody's job. No one is going to own anything. Everyone's going to be poor in a surf again. And some people are really buying into that fear. And so, Michael, if you could talk about your jump once again from real estate finance into this holistic teaching philosophy, and how you began to embody it even more. Because when we decide to be a teacher or a coach, we're saying we devote our life to this philosophy. It's changed us so much for the better. We want to share it with others. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So it was wintertime 2017. I'm 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm on my mom's sofa up near Wisconsin. She lives right on the Illinois-Wisconsin border. I was visiting her. I had just come out of an 11-year relationship. And I'm like, well, who do I want to turn to about relationship? Hello, Louise. So, I started pulling up and, started, really digging into some of her affirmations and so forth. And like some other people that are recently on your show, this training pops up that you can actually get trained to be a facilitator by Dr. Patricia and Rick Nichols. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, that was amazing. So I immediately reached out to Rick and Patricia, and I was in. Like, this is absolutely, like, you found me. This is what I want to do. And, so that was that was it. And went and did the course in San Diego. And I did that. It was actually, I think it was October 1st through the 8th. And I think we ended the day before Louise's birthday, because I think her birthday is right there.
It's right there.
Yeah. She had transitioned in August. So it was a really special, it was a touching and special, they all are, but it was amazing. And being with Patricia and Rick and the group, I mean, just that experience alone, as you know, Reverend Martine, it's transformation. I mean, it really is transformational. And, as Rick would say, this is not, people say, oh, personal development is for wimps or whatever. No way. It's the heavy lifting. I mean, in my career, I remember trying to use the word love in my email communications. This is 1994. My manager's like, you can't use the word love. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? That's what we need. But that's how stiff, the financial industry is, and I peeled back and I said, you know what? I'm going to teach people to live the lifestyle of their dreams and do it now, no matter how old you are. And that's how, when I say holistic, it's about your health is your wealth. And then how do we create monthly cash flow to support doing what you love?
This is so beautiful, because what you just said about the financial industry is that, first of all, you feel like you have to have a PhD in order to understand it. You feel as though unless you were born with, a legacy wealth and it was passed on by your three last great grandfathers, millions of dollars. One, you're not worthy. Two, it's impossible to understand, and you're outside of it. What is so powerful to me, Michael, the testimony of your life and your teaching as a masterful spiritual teacher, is that you are giving us all permission. You are deserving. We're all deserving of wealth. We're all deserving of prosperity. We're all deserving of health. And that as we begin to love ourselves, and Louise teaches us this, but you honed in on this specialty. We need spiritual teachers who are talking to us about finances, who are experts in finances and wealth building, because there's this concept that if you are spiritual, being a good person is enough. You can be a wealthy spiritual person. It's your birthright. That's why I was so excited reading your bio and everything that you've done. It's not just for the healthcare professionals that you've honed in on. I love that. You talk about health is your wealth. That's so important, and we'll get to that. But this is really about all are welcome. There's no one who's left outside of financial wealth. And the messaging has been that there are a whole bunch, whether you're working class, whether you're someone of a different ethnicity, whether you're someone who just doesn't have the skill set. This makes it approachable. You make it so welcoming. You make it so loving. So thank you for bringing it all together, because there's this idea that it's a newer idea that spirituality includes wealth, that It starts, that the economy is in your consciousness. And even if you have $1 to your name, 5 cents, $5, you can begin to attract wealth. Can we talk a little bit about how Louise says that prosperity begins within? I know that your specialization are professionals, medical professionals and clinicians who have an educational foundation of a career set and skills. But how would you speak to someone who's like, I'm really struggling. I'm having a really hard time. My rent, my mortgage is due. I'm feeling like I can't make ends meet. What would you say to them?
Yeah, that's a great question. And first thing what I begin with is really a question, questions with that individual, to really, and not that we don't want to know about what's working, but we want to hone in on what is working. And I really want to take time with each individual, because we're all unique, to find out, like, what is your why? Why do you get up in the morning, and what lights you up? What is it that you're really passionate about? And if you're a nurse practitioner, a manager of a healthcare facility, or you have your own clinic or your own practice, it's like, what is it that really inspires you? Because it's about inspired action. And so finding those things that you can like about your current situation, because the happier we are and the healthier we are, the more prosperous we're going to be. And we're going to attract magnetically those scenarios and events and serendipitous events, as I say. People, places, and things will show up and start bringing those into your world. It'll happen. And it only takes an instant. Louise, when she does that, I've watched that, the prosperity training that she did for the live audience, and she starts out by having everybody open their arms by saying, open and receptive to receive all good, and then Louise say, how does that feel? Like, do you feel like that you deserve to have that? And that's where the rubber meets the road. That is where we take it from the sky to the practical. She was a very practical and pragmatic woman. And that's what I love about her work. This is nothing wrong with that. I'm not against all modalities, but she gets real. And it is just a matter of, as you even said earlier, pause, take a moment, breathe. Really breathe, right? Slow down, focus on your heart, and take a few breaths for 30 seconds or a minute. And you can shift in that instant in your consciousness. It's that, it's that simple,
It's
but
that
it's
simple.
it's discipline. It takes the doingness.
It
It's
takes the doingness. It
doing.
takes discipline. And you begin with gratitude. It's unbelievable that you said just being in a joyful vibration will attract wealth and prosperity and sustainment to you. Yesterday, I was saying I was born in Haiti. And yesterday, I was saying to someone, we were talking about wealth, that I remember meeting this new immigrant. He wasn't a family member. I went to an event. I actually went to a wedding, and he and his wife were seated to me, next to me. And he had been in the country at least 10 years, was working as a housekeeper, decided, but stayed very positive, that easeful. He was so mellow, so pleasant, so happy. He decided he wanted to go to nursing school. So he got married. He and his wife were housekeepers. They were cleaning. One of them decided that they were going to continue working as a housekeeper and cleaning. He would do it part-time. He went through nursing school, finished after 2 years, straight A's. Then she went to nursing school. So that's like 6 years, 7 years. Then they began to pool their money and save their money a little bit to put a down payment on a house and learn a little bit about finances, because the whole system of America and everything was new to him. 10 years later, and that sounds like a lot, they had their own home. He was going for his master's in nursing, and she was. And it was like, and all they said, they prayed, they stayed positive, they saved their money, but they stayed positive. And what I remember about them was how pleasant and positive and grateful they were. Now, it's not the fact that they were immigrants in a new country. It was the pleasantness. And I said, what would happen when you worried and you were afraid? They said, we'd put our heads together and we would pray, and then we'd go for a walk, or we would make a little meal and do a little celebration, or we would go out with our friends and we wouldn't spend much, but we'd dance or we'd do a little something to lift our spirits. And so the common thread running throughout was gratitude, peacefulness, optimism, prayer, affirming, knowing, visioning. And I think that what the media and the culture is doing right now is stirring the pot. Be afraid. Be afraid. Be afraid. And if you can take a breath and take a moment to vision, my beloveds, even in the most dire circumstance, Louise says it, you can start in a mansion or you can start in a homeless shelter. Prosperity is your birthright. Mm-hmm. Prosperity is your birthright, and it begins within, in and through consciousness, in and through consciousness. So prosperity begins. So let's talk about self-worth, a little bit about self-worth. Michael, do you see that there's a relationship between self-worth, financial well-being, and physical health? So have you witnessed the healing of all three? You've been working with clients now for some time, and have you seen some healings in that department?
Yeah, I sure have. There's no question, and one of the I guess kind of, again, some context here, we're physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And where I really want my clients to step back and take a look at is those, what I call the 4 domains. And to see what's working, what's not working. And I've seen, my own clients. I have many clients now in the last few years that have been retiring. And I share these principles, right? And it's never too late, right, to shift. And they, especially with nurses in particular, what they're looking for is they want peace of mind. They want comfort, they want health, they want to take care of themselves. And so, I have clients that, are retiring, that have been retiring, and I continue to support them on that next phase in their journey to make sure they're, like, for instance, just doing things that really light them up, that they're really passionate about. And so, I talk about that. And in the book, as you popped up here, it really is true. It's like, really wealth, health, and happiness, they all tie together.
Yes, they
do. It's a synergy between them. And if we're focused on, again, nurses in particular, they're so great at taking care of everybody else, but I help them to see how they need to take care of themselves, right? You're on an airplane, the airbag goes down, you're with your kiddo, you got to save yourself first. And that's what I bring into my practice every day. I actually do heart-focused breathing with each client at the beginning of every meeting. So we synchronize our heart and our head so that we're in our most highest intuitive way to be able to go through the process together. I do it every day with clients and they love it. They love it. It's something I've been experimenting with over the last several months since the beginning of the year, but it's fun. And I really see that it doesn't matter because I do work with all people, not just nurses.
Yes.
And people are hungry for this pause, for this being centered, to just connecting in the present moment, just for that moment, and really just taking that peace and joy into the next thing we're doing. And if we just do that one thing, it will shift everybody around us. I mean, I've got a 7.5-year-old daughter, and she's the light of my life. I mean, wasn't planned, but I realized that she's learning through me. She watches what I do, and it doesn't matter if you're 3 years old or 103. We're still learning. We live on the learning planet. And I did want to make sure I said this today. Louise, our Hay House, has an app called Empower You.
Yes.
Every morning we turn to the universe, and what does the universe want to tell me today? We click on that button together, and Sarah reads that affirmation 3 times right at the beginning.
Oh, that's wonderful. I have the Empower You app as well.
Empower You app, yes.
And I get my little messages in the morning, and I read the affirmations. It's a wonderful practice, my beloveds. And I grew up, my mom was a nurse. Many of my aunts were nurses. Wow. This idea of hard work, prosperous nurses, I love. Prosperous people, I love. My beloveds, we're taking a short break. We will be right back. I'm Reverend Martine Bernard, and this is What Would Louise Say?
Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk. Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Unity of Garden Park. New Thought, Philadelphia. The Sunshine Cathedral. Unity of Savannah. And the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.
The Heal Your Life Workshop Leader and Life Coach Certification Training, approved personally by Louise Hay, is coming to San Diego. Facilitated by expert trainers Anna Milkick and Christy Dixon. This 3-month training includes multiple sessions on Zoom and 10 days in beautiful San Diego. It will change your life and enable you to help others transform their lives.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hepperlin Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living, Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you. And please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network. Come be you.
What Would Louise Say? Join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Hosted by Reverend Martine Bernard. Explore the wisdom of Louise Hay. Brought to you by New Thought Media Network. Dive into Louise's teachings. Experience healing and empowerment. Reverend Martine shares insights. Connect with a contemporary audience. Unlock your potential. Transform your life with love. Embrace positivity and healing. Join our vibrant community. Ready to join us? Let's spread love and wisdom together. Please like, share, and subscribe. Only on New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Hello, hello, beloveds. We are back. I'm Rev Martine, the host of What Would Louise Say on the New Thought Media Network. Shout out to Reverend Michael, Reverend Robert, and the whole New Thought Media community. Thank you for being with us. We have our fabulous guest, Michael Budnick, and who is a holistic financial advisor and expert. Before we went on break, I talked about how I grew up with an aunt, a mom, an aunt, many aunts who were nurses and RNs. And I saw a lot of women working hard, doing a lot for other people. So I love the idea of the prosperous nurse. And having gone through my own health challenge, I had loving, wonderful nurses. But this idea of prosperity and nursing doesn't always go together. So thank you for putting that together. And explain to us a little bit more, Michael, what that's about and what is holistic financial advice, planning, and what you do, because I think it's amazing.
Oh, wow. Thank you. You know, it's amazing because serendipitously, before we went on break, or when we went on break, I'm like, oh, I want to tell you more about the book. I mean, because there's some acknowledgement for Dr. Patricia Crane here, obviously Louise as well. But let me define holistic for you. When I really already did earlier, when I think of holistic, again, it's those four domains. It's our physical health, you know, our mental health, our spiritual health, and our, what was the other one? Oh no, I drew a blank on the other one. Mental, right?
Yeah.
And so what I wanted to do, I took a step back in the creation of this book. And by the way, initially, the title I came up with was Smart Nurses Finish Rich. And I realized nurses, again, I interviewed my top clients. They don't, being rich in family and togetherness and, you know, health and all of that. But the money was not the key. So that's why I came up with the title, The Prosperous Nurse. And then I realized, wow, when I was creating the book, how do I bring Louise into this process? And so with Dr. Patricia Crane, back in 2008, when we were in the middle of a meltdown in every area of life, the crash of '08, Patricia wrote a course called Money and Consciousness. And so what I decided was to weave in, again, it's Louise, Patricia. So the first several chapters of the book are really about the principles of prosperity and consciousness, identifying those self-limiting beliefs that we were taught by our parents, our teachers, the people around us, and then how to shift those into positive affirmations and utilize that in our daily life to turn things around. So I cover all that in the first few chapters of the book. And shout out, acknowledgement to Dr. Patricia Crane, because she really was the person that helped me create that aspect at the beginning of the book. So, and then, you know, I'll just say this, you know, I talk about in the book what I call the 8 pillars. And I don't want to like go into those too deep, but we need to have everything needs to be, you know, really solid. In other words, we need to know one big thing, and I'll just share this, is we need to know how much we're spending each month. And then, you know, so doing that, that's the only thing I'm going to say on the practical side, which is Patricia talks about it, is that we need to know how much do we spend each month, and then we can create the money to support that and more, right? Yes. You know, the affirmation, you know, more money's flowing in, you know, than my expenses are, you know, my expenses are stable and more money's flowing in, things like that. And so I bring that in. I don't have it posted, or I'm going to get this up and running. I do a 1-day workshop called Magnetic Money. And I talk about that in this book. And so, those will be coming up here probably in the next 8 weeks or so at the Oasis Institute. I'll be doing those live as well. But I think that my tagline, I mentioned it, you mentioned it, your health is your wealth.
Yes.
You have $1 million in the bank, but if you can't get up out of bed in the morning and enjoy your life, what does it matter, right? And if we're not getting up doing what we love, and you can find that even in your current work there, if you're a nurse or a healthcare provider, it is such a huge field. My best friend is a functional medicine chiropractor. You could work with him and he could teach you how to help people with their metabolic testing to be able to get healthier. There's so many opportunities out there. I'm talking to Andrea, who you met earlier. She's a medical doctor. It's like, all right, well, she wants to be holistic, so let's bring that in. And that's the kind of things I try to do, just like Louise, is be a resource for my clients. Like, I don't have all the answer, just like Louise said. I'm one part of this whole process, and that's where holistic comes in. We bring in professionals to help make us healthier, wealthier, and stronger. Anyway, that's it.
Yes, we really do. And many times we don't think about bringing in a spiritual, I would say functional, practical advisor, mentor, coach around prosperity consciousness,
Yes.
around our finances. It's that domain that either people cast aside, the majority of people just wing it, or those, who become specialists, but it seems like an inaccessible world, even for the clinicians, even for the nurses, a field that is filled with a lot of women. And now more and more men are going into nursing. But this idea, I love that you pair prosperity with nursing so that all of these caregivers can care for themselves and their future, because I was listening to Louise saying, let go of the idea of a fixed income, because when people think of retirement, they're also thinking fixed. They're not thinking unlimited, that you could download an amazing divine idea that could make you a billionaire. It doesn't matter. But this idea that, well, I'm not of that age to make or attract money is a limiting idea. It really, really is a limiting idea. So it's important for people going into retirement, regardless of where they stand, to realize that it's never too late. You said it yourself. It's never too late to begin to create a prosperous future, a healthy future. This idea that as we age, we decline. That's also a belief in mass mind that that's why I love your tagline, your brand. Health is your wealth, because we can get healthy at any stage and at every age. It's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. So Mike, thank you for sharing so much about your book, The Pillars. I love this idea of foundation. Reverend Michael Beckwith of Agape always says you want to, I love him too. He's a mentor of mine, that you want to stabilize your structures.
Yes.
You want to stabilize the rent, the health, your eating, your prayer life. And from that foundation, from the pillars, from stabilizing the structures, then more will come. And if someone goes, Martine, I don't have any structures, I'm starting at the beginning. So I'd love for you to offer some guidance from someone who is starting now, whose financial life may be a wreck, and they're just not feeling good about it. There's a lot of fear. Michael, what are some things you could offer to that person who's either beginning in Louise's philosophy, or who's never heard of Louise's philosophy and wants to grow their prosperity and wealth consciousness?
Yes, sure. Now, and just so I'm clear, are these like the 3 things you're wanting me to share, or are you wanting me?
This is you as an expert.
Okay, great. Yeah. So so first things first. Is just to really get clear about where you are. Number one is, what is your expense plan? That is the number one thing, because once you have that anchor, that pillar in place, Now we can look at your income. And as you said, I mean, and even as someone just starting out, your income that's coming in, we want to make sure there's more coming in than there is going out. That's number one. And then really plug the holes on the financial stuff. Because when you have your expense plan in front of you and you go through it with someone like me, I will help you find where you can cut expenses. I help clients anywhere from a few hundred to several $100s to find, places where you don't have to be spending that money, or you could do things smarter, in that area. The other thing I would say is that no matter what age you are, work with a fiduciary investment advisor and make sure they're only a fiduciary. Tony Robbins, who is an amazing guy, he wrote in 2014, he did a little interview in New York City. That's what inspired me to do. That was one of my first books that I did, the 401k Survival Guide back then. But a fiduciary only, not someone who says they're a fiduciary, but yet at the same time, they can sell you commission products. A fiduciary works in your best interest. They have your best interest at heart. And when you work with a fiduciary, the only way that I can increase my revenue is by, like, I can double my income by doubling your account. And so that person has a vested interest in your success. Just if I could say one thing to anybody, I don't care if you're 18 years old, putting $10 a month away, work with a fiduciary. There's no limit. It doesn't matter. My thing is, it's not how much money you have. The real question is, can I help you? And, that's what I focus on.
Oh, that's great advice. Wow. Thank you for that distinction. I don't think people know this.
No, they don't. They don't. And they don't think there's fees in their retirement plans at their employer because they're not disclosed. And a fiduciary discloses. Everything is transparent. Nothing is hidden. And brokerage organizations, I'm not disparaging them, but they can hide all those fees and make you think they're not there when they really are. And that Tony does a great job when he does that interview in New York City. He's talking to people that work for Chase Bank, and they don't even know about their own retirement plan and the fact that there are fees in it. And I'll say this, if you can increase 3% gain year over year, in 10 years, that's 40% more in your investment or retirement account. 40% in 10 years.
That's wonderful. Ooh, I'm getting inside good information. Thank you, universe. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for your willingness to support people, truly support people from a holistic perspective. And please continue, Michael.
Sure. Yeah. So, and the other thing I would say is that it's about alignment too. It's about aligning how you are saving or investing based on, your comfort level, and it needs to align with you. That is really important. First thing I do with people is I do an assessment to find out, where are they as an investor? And then we align the investments or savings along with that to go. So it's, again, everything is in sync with that, right? Yeah. And then just making sure that we have it's good to have 3 months to 6 months of savings set aside. If you don't have it, obviously get rid of your debt first, and I can help you with that, but then put some savings aside, because when you've got that 3 or 6 months, it gives you comfort in knowing that you can take a risk. Like if you want to go try to do something new, or do something on the side that you're really more passionate about, when you have that security, like if you had a year and you knew that you could just jump in, and Louise says, you mistake your way to success, right? It's just a mistake. Just do it again. And I really, that's one thing I work with, again, whether someone's just starting out or they're within 5 years of retirement or retiring, is like, it's never too late. Louise created Hay House when she was 60 years old.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think she was 50 or 55 when she wrote.
She was 55 when she wrote her book, and Hay House at 60.
Yeah.
And she says, and what's powerful, she said, this wasn't a career woman. She said, I knew nothing. I had nothing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is not someone who is working away at her writing career for decades. This is literally a woman who downloaded her good. So
Yes.
that's what I
Yes.
want to really speak about is the power of affirmation.
Yes.
Louise was very influenced by Dr. Joseph Murphy. She has also published some of his books, and I've just memorized. I'm going to try to get my prosperity affirmation and say it. I always say my name. I, Martine, am now writing into my subconscious mind the idea of God's wealth. God is the source of my supply, and all my needs are met at every moment of time and point of space. God's wealth flows freely, joyously, and ceaselessly into my experience. And I, Martine, give thanks for God's riches forever circulating in my experience and in my life now. So begin with prosperity affirmations. We are open and receptive to all the good
All good. Yeah.
and abundance of the universe. So, Michael, oh my gosh, it's been so. We could talk about money, 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 money.
Yes.
I know that I'm grateful. I'm practicing gratitude for everything that I have. It's so important right now, and for my healthy body. I'm blessed to have overcome a health opportunity. So I am very, very grateful. And this is the time, Michael, your 3 tips for our audience, our beloved ones who are streaming right now and in the future as a master prosperity teacher. What would you offer?
Yeah.
A person on the street, the 3 tips.
Yeah, here we go. So Louise taught that thoughts you think and the words you speak create your experience. So here are the 3 simple ways to start shifting that today. Number 1, mirror work. Start your day by looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. I really love you. And as Reverend Martine did, I, Michael, in other words, put your name in there if you want to. I don't know how we do it on that, but I love you. I really love you. It plants self-love before the noise of the day gets in. And it also, as Louise says, will squelch out self-criticism. That's number 1. Number 2, thought swap. Catch one limiting thought today about money. Okay. Like for instance, I never have enough money. Well, I do have enough money, and money's flowing in and freedom is flowing out. Like just shift that one, do that one thought swap and swap it in present time with an affirmation. I'm open and receptive to receiving new income. I mean, it's, and I write these things in my book. Number 3, release the pattern. When something feels stuck, hard to forgiveness, just say, I'm willing to release the pattern that created this. You don't have to understand it. Just be willing to be willing, and it will dissolve itself. And these are directly from Louise. So thank you for letting me share.
Oh, I love what you said, especially the last one. Stop all criticism. It will be willing to let it go and be willing to forgive yourself for any financial mistakes. If you're like, oh my God, I'm 65 and I don't have any money for retirement, stop beating yourself up. Know as you begin to embody prosperity consciousness, like Louise did at 60. Boom, this publishing company that changed the world for all of us and changed our lives. And she said she had nothing. So know that the good of the universe is readily available. Begin to affirm your wealth, affirm your health, affirm your financial stability and your financial resourcefulness. We are worthy and deserving. Michael, I cannot thank you enough for being on our show today to remind us that finances are holistic. It's a mind, body, spirit thing, beloveds. And we don't have to be afraid of it. We don't have to do what our parents did. We can choose to prosper right now. Thank you for reminding our nurses through Prosperous Nurse that they have a right to be prosperous. The caregivers, lots of them girls, you have a right to put that face mask, that oxygen mask on you. And I'd love to see your website again. What is the most current offering that's coming up for you? Could you share that with us?
Yeah, I sure can. So again, if you're anywhere in and around the Knoxville area, next Thursday night at 6:30 p.m., we will be having the free movie night. And then next up after that is the course and live experience, which includes in that and immediately you can start on a self-guided journey with that. And you can begin that by itself if you want to. And then the live course event will take place in September. I think that date, I don't have it right top of mind, but I know it'll be from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And I think if you bear with me for just a moment, I'll tell you the date for that. That's September 15th. But again, you can join in and get started right away. And then in October, I'll be hosting the Love Yourself, Heal Your Life 2-day workshop. That's going to begin in October. That's going to be the 24th and 25th of October from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And you can go to healinglivescommunity.com to learn more. You can click on a link on the bottom to have a conversation with me. I'm here to help no matter what. You've got a question, you've got a comment, you want to chat, you want someone to share with, I'm here for you. So yeah.
How beautiful. Thank you. That loving heart. Michael is here to help no matter what. No shame in any of it. We forgive ourselves. We affirm our good in the mirror. We tell ourselves that we love ourselves. And the second one, I'm forgetting the second one. Mirror work.
Mirror work, the thought swap, right? Catch that thought today and shift it to a present tense affirmation.
That's right. The thought swap. We love it. Thank you, Michael, for being with us today. We are going to be having ongoing conversations about prosperity, wealth, and health. So we will see you again. Beloveds, I am Reverend Martine, and this is What Would Louise Say on the New Thought Media Network.
The Heal Your Life Workshop Leader and Life Coach Certification Training, approved personally by Louise Hay, is coming to San Diego. Facilitated by expert trainers Anna Milkick and Christy Dixon. This 3-month training includes multiple sessions on Zoom and 10 days in beautiful San Diego. It will change your life and enable you to help others transform their lives.